All right, so today we are going to talk about where did the Native Americans or Indians come from? We've got a couple of theories. One theory is they were always here. They were always here. Another theory is that they migrated from the Landbridge, which was considered the Bering Strait between North America and Asia. So they were able to migrate over through that. Now, with that, we have some science to support that fact. We've got the studies of different languages, blood types, teeth, bones, and climate change to support the Landbridge theory. So with that being said, is it safe or even fair to say that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492? Personally, I think that that would be inaccurate, but as history goes, we do still give credit to Christopher Columbus as discovering America, even though he did think that he was finding the West Indies, and that is where the Native Americans got their name as Indians because he thought he was in India. So that is one of the things. Now, if someone already inhabits a land, it's not really being discovered. It's just new to the people who just showed up, right? If you go to a very small town that no one's ever heard of, it's not on the map, or go into the Brazilian, the Amazon, and you find a group of people who have never been there, or who people didn't realize were ever there, did you discover those people? Some say yes, because, oh, we didn't know they were there. Just like if you discover an animal, a new animal or a new species in the Brazilian Amazon. So that is where discovering counts. All right, so enough about that. Now, one thing to know is we did have the Vikings who actually got to North America and started settling in Canada, of all places, in about 1021 AD. So when it comes to Christopher Columbus being the first to actually sail here, now that's not entirely accurate either, because the Vikings were here from 1021 AD. So that was literally 1,000 years before Christopher Columbus was even in the picture, and England was doing its expansion and trying to find trade routes. So again, Christopher Columbus, not exactly our definitive discoverer of America, but we do need to know all the history around it. All right, and then we have centuries back, like we're talking 40 to 20,000 years ago. That is when Native Americans started being documented as populating North America, and North and South America. So the theory with the Landbridge is that they were able to cross over so that they could follow big game. So we're thinking mammoths, these big game across the Landbridge, which was like 1,000 miles wide, or 1,000 miles long. So it's pretty significant. It was grassy, not what we think of now. It was very grassy. It was fertile land because, of course, animals are going across it because they want to get food. And we've got Paleo Indians crossing it to follow the big food, because during this time, meat is the primary food source. The cultivation of or domestication of plants really hadn't happened yet. So the cavemen, Paleo-Americans, Paleo-Indians, they had to follow where the game was. So if they didn't have that, they didn't survive, right? So hello, we're going to go across this piece of land also, right? So that's one of the key parts of that. So like we mentioned, there is scientific data that proves that people did migrate from Asia over to North America. And it's pretty specific, so it's not like this random theory, but dental records. So teeth don't change very much throughout generations. You would think like, oh, everything evolves. Well, teeth don't change very much. So dental evidence suggests that, or supports that, Native Americans actually are descendants of people from Asia. And if that was the only thing, like, okay, we've got some dental records, okay, I guess we'll let it go. That's not where it goes. It doesn't stop there. So on top of that, Native Americans also share a specific Y chromosome that Asians have and not other peoples. So that's another thing that supports the whole migration. Now, could others have migrated from the European area all the way around? Yes, of course they could have. But the primarily was Asians or people from Asia who migrated over on the Landbridge. So that was another thing of the proof that the Landbridge did in fact exist, and the scientific support of Native Americans being descendants from Asia.